Don't ever date a woman like Sabrina. By the end of this story, you'll see how a 25-year-old from Seattle managed to orchestrate a decade-long con, faking a terminal illness to drain nearly $600,000 from the people who cared about her most. This isn't just a story about a bad breakup. It's a case study in the dark triad of personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. The year was 2010. Seattle was a hub for the nerd culture, scene anime, cosplay, and tabletop gaming. This was Sabrina's playground. She was deeply embedded in the community, often seen in elaborate costumes at conventions. But she was missing one thing: a financial engine. She posted an ad on Craigslist. It wasn't a standard dating profile. It was a targeted psychological hook. She wrote a scathing rant, accusing the white men of Seattle of being too afraid or too biased to date a black woman like her. Why was this brilliant? Because it functioned as a challenge. It filtered for a specific type of man: the white knight. It looked for men like Aaron, kind, perhaps a bit socially isolated, and deeply invested in being a good guy. Aaron saw the ad and felt a need to prove her wrong. He wanted to show her that he wasn't like those other guys. He messaged her, and the trap was set. The early days of their relationship were a whirlwind. They hit it off instantly because, on the surface, they were the same person. They shared a passion for paganism, esoteric philosophy, and anime. Aaron had never had a serious girlfriend before, and suddenly, here was this vibrant, creative woman who shared all his niche interests. In psychology, we call this mirroring. Sabrina wasn't just being herself, she was reflecting Aaron's own identity back at him. This creates an intense, artificial bond of soulmate status. Aaron was hooked. He felt a duty to protect her. Since she was a student with no income, he naturally stepped into the role of the provider. When she moved in 9 months later, he didn't see it as a red flag. He saw it as the natural progression of a beautiful romance. The honeymoon period ended with a calculated explosion. One evening, Aaron arrived home to find Sabrina in a state of total emotional collapse. Through tears and trembling, she delivered the news. She had been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. MS is a terrifying degenerative disease. It attacks the central nervous system, and for a partner, hearing this diagnosis triggers an immediate caretaker response. Aaron's protective instincts went into overdrive. He wasn't just her boyfriend anymore. He was her lifeline. But then came the financial friction. Sabrina claimed her insurance was spotty or non-existent. She told him she needed specialized medication that cost $450 every single month. For a young man in Seattle, that's a massive hit, but Sabrina had an even darker tool in her kit: emotional extortion. Whenever the subject of money or the burden of the cost came up, Sabrina would spiral. She would claim that if she couldn't get her medication, her life wasn't worth living. She would explicitly threaten to unalive herself. This is the ultimate checkmate in a relationship. Aaron was now trapped in a cycle where saying no to a financial request felt like pulling the trigger on the person he loved. Aaron was a fighter. To support Sabrina, he took out payday loans with predatory interest rates. He begged and borrowed from friends and family. He lived in a state of constant financial drowning, all to keep his sick girlfriend alive. Then, a miracle happened. Aaron landed a job as a programmer for Nintendo. This was a high-paying, prestigious dream job, he thought. Finally, the struggle is over. I can afford her meds, and we can be happy. But a manipulator's appetite grows with the size of the prey. As soon as Aaron's income went up, Sabrina's medical needs magically increased. Now, her meds were $800 a month. Suddenly, she needed a brand new car because her condition made it hard to ride in an older vehicle. Then, she insisted they needed a house, while Aaron spent 10 to 12 hours a day coding at Nintendo to fund their life. Sabrina stayed home, claiming her MS made it impossible to work. However, she wasn't resting. She was spending thousands on high-end makeup, designer clothes, and expensive cosplay materials. She was living a life of luxury while Aaron was drowning in the debt he took on to save her. The mask began to slip when Sabrina demanded an open relationship. She framed it as exploration, but the reality was simpler. She had already found a new source of attention and wanted to pursue them without losing Aaron's paycheck. The psychological toll on Aaron was immense. He was paying for her house, her car, her meds, and her clothes while she was out with other people. The cognitive dissonance was deafening. The breaking point arrived on a night that felt like a movie script. Aaron was out on a rare date of his own. His phone began to blow up dozens of texts from Sabrina. She claimed she was having a breakdown, that she had locked herself in the bathroom, and that she had swallowed a lethal dose of pills. Terrified, Aaron abandoned his date and sped through the streets of Seattle. He arrived at the apartment, heart hammering against his ribs, expecting to find a tragedy. He sat in his car for a moment, trying to catch his breath. That's when he saw her. Sabrina stepped out of the front door. She wasn't pale. She wasn't stumbling. She was dressed up, smiling, and casually meeting a group of friends for a night out on the town. In that moment, the sick girl persona died. The reality of the monster took its place. Aaron finally did what he should have done years prior. He started verifying. He contacted the National MS Society. He gave them a list of the medications he had been buying for Sabrina for years. The representative on the phone was silent for a moment before saying, "Sir, none of these medications are used to treat multiple sclerosis. These are basic over-the-counter supplements and unrelated prescriptions. The medication runs were a scam. The doctor's visits were fabrications. The entire physical decline was an act." Sabrina had stolen years of Aaron's life and left him with $80,000 in personal debt. After Aaron kicked her out, Sabrina didn't hide. A true sociopath simply finds a new host. She moved on to a new partner, using the exact same MS script. She even managed to convince a group of friends to go on a trip to Japan with her. While in Japan, she pulled her final, most ambitious stunt. She posted to social media that shady hackers had drained her bank accounts, and she was now stranded and suicidal in a foreign country. Her local friends, unaware of her history, set up a GoFundMe, but Aaron was watching. He and a network of other victims she had discarded over the years began a digital counteroffensive. They posted receipts, medical facts, and testimonies. They warned the public, "Do not give this woman a dime." The noise became so loud that the FBI took notice. When federal agents began digging, they found a trail of destruction that spanned a decade. It wasn't just Aaron, it was 8 to 10 different victims. The total amount stolen through medical fraud, identity theft, and manipulation was nearly $600,000. Sabrina's story ends not in a hospital, but in a courtroom. The nerdy cosplayer who couldn't work due to chronic illness was found to be perfectly except for a severe lack of conscience. She was convicted of wire fraud and sentenced to 27 months in federal prison. She was ordered to pay restitution, though the money was long gone spent on makeup, vacations, and the thrill of the con. Why did Aaron stay so long? Why did 10 other people fall for it? Because manipulators like Sabrina don't look like villains. They look like people who need you. They use your best qualities, your kindness, your loyalty, and your empathy against you. If someone's story doesn't add up, if their emergencies always require your credit card, and if they use their health as a weapon to keep you from leaving, walk away. Because the cost of staying might be more than just your money. It might be your soul.